The company is essentially a counter-espionage company. So we provide advice and guidance to organisations, government departments on how to protect their information, whether that's data, conversations, but it kind of offers an holistic approach in terms of protecting valuable information.
And what is the link to DISA? Can you explain that?
Sure. Yeah. It's obviously two very separate organisations. Esoteric is a commercial organisation that looks at providing services to organisations. DISA is an association body for the defence industry, which provides advice as a link almost between HM government departments and contracts and those that are engaged on those contracts. And I sit on the board of DISA.
And can you now tell us about what your company does, what its ambition is, its aims?
If someone is looking to gather information, for want of a better word, is espionage. And what we do is we counter that. Yeah. We provide advice both at a strategic level. So if an organisation is looking at its business practices or its strategy, its forthcoming strategy, then what we do is we work with those organisations to look at how they can ensure that during those important and critical business decisions that information is protected. And that comes in a number of ways. That can be very much from briefing people on how to, send a message securely, have a conversation securely. It may involve looking at if an individual, for example, is high profile. It may be ways at looking at how that person's profile can be protected, particularly with the internet, for example, where information is readily available from, on open source on specific individuals. So we kind of take an holistic view and then provide a number of services to support that view, which is predominantly protecting information and conversations.
Excellent. How did you get here? How did you get to this position of being a managing director of your own company like this?
Probably slightly different from most, I would imagine. My career started out in the military. I was army, I was military police. I left school and did extended education, and then went straight into the army at 18 years old, where I stayed for 8 years. As I say, I was military police, and within that then specialised. I then moved from a military environment and I went to the intelligence services, which is predominantly where my background lays. And that for all intents and purposes has brought me to the career path that I've subsequently followed. My career path has been very varied, very diverse, but this industry lends itself to people from very different backgrounds. Right. It's not an area of expertise that's purely associated to IT, right. And computer programming. No. It's much more diverse than that, and as technology develops and as business develops, this area of expertise will continue to develop, continue to attract different people into this.
What do you particularly love about this work? What's the real appeal about it?
I think the thing that I like about my work is it's so diverse. I don't necessarily just go into an office every morning. My work is very different from the norm. Yes. So I like that aspect of it. The kinds of projects that we get involved with are very different, and can vary enormously from industry to industry and client to client. Yeah. We may be involved in looking at, a director that's looking to travel to a particular part of the world, where there might be concerns about how that country or how competitors in that country might gather their information. Right. So some of the things that we might be involved in is briefing that individual that's going there, looking at whether or not he'll take certain technology with him, or whether information could easily be taken from him whilst he's in those countries. And equally, we may be involved in projects such as going out and sweeping an office to make sure there are no eavesdropping devices in there. Yes.
How would you recommend it to young people coming into this business? What's the real buzz?
For someone coming into the industry, it may well be that actually when they enter the industry, they may be doing very specialist areas of work, but actually there is a career progression path out there. Yes. For example, in my case, I went on to do an MBA. Yes. because it was more appropriate for me in this field and doing business. And of course it was useful for the people that I associate with, i.e. clients, and how they do business.
Exactly.
So it's, you know, it is an area that's really interesting. The work's really interesting. And yeah, not necessarily always a dull moment.
No, good, excellent. Well, that was really helpful and interesting, Emma. Thank you very much indeed for your time with us.
You're welcome.